Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp, and today I'm going to build the Flames of War Archer from the Comet Armoured Squadron box, which includes two of these vehicles. This 15mm scale plastic model is also available in its own box, which contains 4 vehicles. As we already saw in the Comet box overview video, the plastic in this kit is quite nice. It's very neatly moulded, with very little in the way of mould lines, and quite a lot of detail. I think the amount of detail they've managed to get into this kit is really quite impressive, especially when you consider that it's made up of 10 parts. It is of course a wargaming kit, so it's not entirely unexpected that there would be fewer parts than a display kit would have, and some of the detailing is going to be simplified or completely omitted, like the tracks for instance, where the tread detail is simplified where you can see it, and completely smooth across the top where you can't see it. That's fine though, and they look fantastic from the sides. Sure, they could have made things even more detailed by increasing the part count, but again, it's a wargaming kit, and simplicity of construction appeals to a lot of gamers. It makes sense. If you want to get your army on the table quick, you don't want to spend weeks building each tank. To assist in said gaming, there's a card for the Archer with information you'll probably find quite helpful in games of Flames of War. As a very forgetful person, I quite like these cards, though they are optional and I have no idea if the standalone box includes any. I'm pretty sure you have to buy them separately, unfortunately. The Comet box also includes some instructions in the Getting Started booklet. I haven't taken a very good picture of it here, but you can also find instructions on the Flames of War website, which I've linked in the description, though you could probably figure out how this model goes together with no instructions at all. I'm pretty sure I said that about the last one of these I did too, the Chaffee. This is an even more simple kit than that one, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, let's glue some bits of plastic together. There doesn't seem to be a particular order in which things should be put together, but starting with the tracks did seem the most sensible. They get glued onto the hull like so. As with most of the Battlefront plastic tanks I've seen, there's keying which is different on either side, so it's super easy to be sure that you've got things around the right way. It would take significant effort to do this wrong. Into the hull I attached this internal part. There's not much to it. It's a driver's seat, a small guide ring, and some ammo, and it pretty much just drops right into place. Obviously you will need to put this at the correct end of the hull, and that's the front, the end with the idler wheels. Next, after some umming and ahhing, I chose to drill out the gun barrel. I think if I were to go back in time, I would not do this. It didn't turn out too bad, but it's not quite as good as I wanted it to be, and that is probably my own fault for being bad at drill. It is a pretty small gun. I would say it's just on the edge of being worth drilling out. It really would be a lot better if they would slide mold these so the ends of the barrels would be open, but really, at this scale, you can pretty easily hide the fact that the end of the barrel is flat with some paint trickery. Basically just a dot of black paint or even black wash. Simple enough. Still, mine is drilled out now, and I did drill both of them, and it looks okay. Maybe you can drill yours more neatly than I can. Might as well glue the breech onto the end of the gun now. Obviously the opposite end to which I've just drilled. This is made really simple by the piece of rectangular keying that helps line everything up. It ends up looking very gun. Next, I glue the upper hull onto the lower hull. This is just as easy as it looks, assuming this looks easy to you, which it should, because it is. You might like to apply a little pressure where the upper and lower hull parts join at the rear. I follow this by adding the walls of the fighting compartment, I guess you would call it. Or maybe it's just more upper hull. This one did need a bit of pressure, because a gap wanted to make its presence known where this part joins the hull, and pressure is the way we say no, you aren't welcome here, gap, get out. Once I'm satisfied with the bond at the front, I add glue to the other end. Then, it's time to install the gun. It pretty much just drops into place here. The gun shield can then be slid over the gun and glued into place. It did take a bit of nudging to get it to sit in what looked to be the correct position, but it's nothing too difficult. I don't think this part needs to be sitting perfectly against the hull, but the gap shouldn't be too big either. On the front, I add a set of spare track links, which has an obvious rectangular mounting point on the back of it. Anyway, I built 2 of these, and I don't know why I filmed this bit of video, I guess maybe to show that I did in fact build both of these. Anyway, That's it. The 15mm scale Archer self-propelled guns in plastic from Battlefront are now completed, and despite the less than perfect gun barrel drilling, I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out. It's a very nice model of what I think is a very interesting and unusual vehicle, one that I'm actually kind of surprised to see in plastic. Not that I'm complaining, of course, quite the opposite. Though there is also a Flames of War Valentine in plastic, so perhaps there's some crossover there. The sprues are different, so it would obviously be a different tooling, so who knows. Probably somebody that works at Battlefront would know, but I'm not one of them. What matters is we've got an awesome little Archer, and a Valentine too. I've not built the Valentine yet, but I'm sure it's pretty good as well. This kit was, as you can tell from the length of this video, very quick to put together. I didn't have any real problems with it. The part at the front of the hull did need a bit of pressure to minimise gaps, and may need some putty work, but I wouldn't say that's horrible or anything to worry about. And the gun does obviously look a bit dodgy where I've drilled it out, but that is definitely not a problem with the kit. That's a Herbert Erpaderp problem. So it's quick, easy, and the result is quite satisfying. Maybe not for rivet counters, but if you are buying wargaming kits expecting extreme detail and rivet counter level stuff, you might be doing it wrong. This works very well for its intended purpose, which is to represent the Archer on the tabletop. When you look at it, you can clearly see that it's an Archer. Unless you've never seen an Archer before, I guess. Anyway, I might be starting to waffle now. If you want to see the other vehicles from the comment box, there are links in the description below. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below. If you'd like to watch me build kits like this one live, check out my Twitch channel, which is where I stream pretty much all of the builds you see here. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell if you want to see more, and if you'd like to see my videos a bit early, before there's any ads, consider becoming a patron or a monthly member on Ko-fi. You can find links to Patreon, Ko-fi, and all my other things like Discord and social media in the description below. Take care of yourselves, be excellent to each other, and thanks for watching. Farewell.